useful for anyone out there who's looking to start GMing and wants an interesting way of like learning to get better at improvising encounters and scenes, etc. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be taking the monster manual. And then what we're going to do is we're going to effectively be flipping it to a random page. Now, obviously, the issue with doing that is that I know what the monster manual is. I know generally where things are in there. So when I'm flipping through, it's going to be more likely that I'll know roughly where we're going. So rather than taking away that mental element of like not knowing what page, I'm going to actually do like a random number generator and use the page that number generates to create an encounter for that creature. So we then flip to that page. There's a 3-minute timer, and then in this notebook here, I'm going to be, this is a nice little notebook, I'm going to be effectively planning an encounter of some kind and seeing where it takes us. So first thing I need to do is change this chair because it's fucking so loud, and then I will get back to you. Alright, so we're back. Let's pop in a bit of gun. You're not going to really be seeing much. I think you're probably just going to hear me chewing, and then what I'm going to do is afterwards I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've written. So let's get this coming. We've got the bubble mint today. Gorgeous flavour. So I've got 3 minutes. So in all likelihood, what it's going to be is I need to get to that page. Once I've got it, flip to the page, that's when I start the timer. And then I've got to read through the information about the creature and then write some notes. So it's going to be like probably pretty simple. Some pretty simple notes. Nothing too expensive, I'll be honest. So let's go ahead and do it. Random number generated between 12 and 360 because that's all the pages with monsters in the book. Let's go. 179. 179. Okay. So I've got the timer up. When I flip over the page, that's when I'm gonna start it off. Let's go. Okay. So we've got a sea hag. That's what we had. I'll show you what that looks like. I actually have used a sea hag somewhat recently in a game. But there you go, it's that creature there on the left. Sea hag is a type of witch or hag. Predominantly lives in like polluted underwater layers. And is considered to be like ugly, so always like reflects an ugly kind of creature, even when they transform. So this is the encounter I created. It's just a few bullet points, it's nothing fancy. But the encounter I created in 3 minutes is that as the players or the characters are moving down a busy street, they duck through an alleyway to take a shortcut, and that's when they hear the sound of crying coming down from a darkened alleyway. If they go and investigate, they can see that the sound isn't coming from above ground, instead it is echoing out from a sewer grate. If they decide to further investigate it, what they find is an ugly young woman in the sewers crying to herself. If she sees the players, or the characters I should say, she immediately starts making demands of them. She demands to be complimented, and in addition to that, if they manage to move past that stage, asks for a description of someone they find beautiful. Now this would all be done in the form of like a few social checks. Do they believe her? Because she's obviously like, the point is that she's objectively like ugly, whatever form that might take to those players or those characters. So she's meant to be like, it's meant to be that they have to lie here. If they manage to, she'll ask for a description of someone they find beautiful, and again she'll like take on that image, and her body like will shift to change to that sort of shape. Obviously what they do here is up to them now that they've seen like someone changing shape. If they do nothing, she will cackle and run away. If however they failed to compliment her, whether that be because they don't want to or they didn't make it believable, she immediately turns violent and will try to drown them in the sewage until she either is killed or manages to escape. So, the reason for this little, I'm trying to think of the word here, technique, this exercise, is that sometimes your players will go and do something you don't expect them to do. And sometimes you only have a few minutes, maybe they're role playing, and you've got 3 minutes to make something or get the ideas. See how I created that in 3 minutes? If you do this, you'll start to familiarise yourself with different monsters in the manual, not only kind of broadening your understanding of those monsters and thinking about them in different ways, but also it means you're exercising the idea of like, oh shit, I've got to make something very quickly. It's about exercising and your improvisation skills. So let's do another one. I'm going to generate a new number, a higher one this time. 286. 286. Hopefully this isn't a monster I'm familiar with and make it more interesting. So once again, I'm going to start the timer when I flip the page. 3, 2, 1. Oh. So I got a Tarrasque. Okay, this is interesting. I'll tell you about this afterwards. Oh jeez. Okay. this is hard because this is basically a boss. Just finishing my sentence. Alright. Timer is done. So this was a hard one actually, and the reason it was hard is because the Tarrasque is like the most feared monster in the monster manual. It's a legendary creature that is the harbinger of destruction effectively. This is what it looks like. This is a meme, like, I would say a meme monster, but it's become a bit of a meme monster, and that is effectively how do I describe this? It's basically Godzilla. That's what it is. It's Godzilla. So there are two options here that I could have gone for. Now, I suppose I didn't have to include the creature actually being there. That I could have done it a different way. But what I've described is the reason this is difficult is because this would never be like a subtle encounter. It would always be a major one. Whereas what I guess I could say is that in the future, it doesn't have to be that the monster is there, it could just be reflective of that monster, or something to do with it, like cultists dedicated to this creature maybe. I'm not sure. I know that's cheating the game, but either way, this is what I came up with. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting everything today, I'm sorry. So, I did this more like a Godzilla movie. So the player characters start off in a market square. There's some roleplay going on. When they begin to hear some distant screams, and that's when they begin also seeing dust clouds in the distance and crumbling on the ground. People are fleeing from that way into the market and away from that area as buildings start collapsing, and that's when they begin to see parts of the Tarrasque forming out from behind the buildings as it's moving through. Effectively, this encounter is not a combat. Instead, it is a skill challenge encounter. In that sense, the characters have to escape the city before it's destroyed, before they're caught in the path of the Tarrasque. They have to escape. So they'll do a series of skill challenges. Obstacles will come up. They'll have to navigate through from raging fires to explosions to humanoid looters to others just like crowding together and blocking pathways. Another obstacle this is an exercise to get the juices flowing, to help you get into the mindset of improvising an encounter when you would need to. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I'd appreciate a like. Let me know if you want me to do more of these in the future. Maybe it's interesting, maybe useful. But yes, subscribe if you're not already, because you should be. If you've watched this far, you enjoyed it clearly.